Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa D'Amico, the curator at the Art Gallery at the Rockefeller State Park Preserve, and I have the pleasure today of speaking with artist Monique Ford, whose work is in the current exhibit. Welcome, Monique.
Thank you for having me.
Monique, you have two very powerful pieces in this show. Can you give us a little bit of a backstory on both of them?
Absolutely. So they're from a current series that I'm working on titled Ancestral. So the series is all about women and wolves. The wolves that are depicted in the two pieces in your show are both based on images of wolves that I started exploring and investigating at the Wolf Conservatory in South Salem, New York. So they're actually from a series of images that I've been able to take while visiting the Wolf Conservatory. The wolves are both wolves that will be let back out into the wild and that are there temporarily. And so they have a very specific energy to them that is specific to, the wild wolf.
Why did you pair these wolves with your portraits of women? What's the correlation?
Great question. So I started to see the correlation and connection between the the wolf and the icon of the wolf with the icon of the woman. And I started digging into why I was gravitated towards it. So I usually do portraits of women, and then I started thinking more about ancestry and bloodline. And so when you think about that with women, we think of our ancestors, our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, and all of the stories that are passed down to women in our contemporary space. And when we think about the wolf, we think about dogs. And there's a real irony in our current space where we have a lot of animals and dogs being rescued and that don't have homes. And then the juxtaposition between that and the wolf who is an endangered species, who is now, many wolf pups are born into captivity. And so there's this real correlation in these systems of the lineage of the dog is the wolf and the power of the wolf. So I've been working on a lot of the ideas around their connection.
Huh. Monique, when you went to the wolf sanctuary, did you go with the intention of using them as subjects in your work?
That's a great question. I did like a photo shoot that they were offering there, and I really did want to begin doing some portraits of them, but I don't think I imagined what they would become. I just started thinking about combining them potentially. I just was more interested in getting to know them further, getting to learn more and educate myself about them more. And the images I wound up taking and what I wound up learning from their different gestures and expressions was kind of remarkable. They have ambassador wolves there that are more, they have behavior. Their behavior is a little bit more of what you'd expect from a dog, and then they have the packs that are going to be let back into the wild. So they're very different in their gestures and their expressions within that difference.
What struck me about both pieces is your use of color. What were the decision-making points in these pieces that led you to this interpretation of color?
Mm-hmm. Great question. The wolf moon is very much resonates with modernism in painting and color and thinking about the way modernist artists depict the sky at night. And the wolf moon is really supposed to feel like you're stepping outside and you're in nature and you're in connection to the wolf, and the wolf is being lit by the moon. And so there's supposed to be that heat, that intensity, and that playfulness in in the variation of color in the night sky that you might see in like a Georgia O'Keeffe painting or like a Marston Hartley painting. And I just love the way those kind of modernist painters depicted the warmth and the darkness of the sky. Yeah. The other one is I painted it alongside a model that I have painted several times. And whenever I paint that model, I mostly paint her in tonalities of blue and blue variations. And it's an intuitive response. It's hard to describe. And so the wolf background and the painting of the wolf is kind of in that conjunction of that system of colors itself. It has a cooler palette and it's a little bit more representational, but it still, honors that correlation with the way the woman is painted and the way the background is painted in that bluish gray color palette.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, great question.
I'm curious, what are you working on now?
I'm working on now is a larger painting of a woman in nature that I've been working on and off on that's in connection to a performance piece that I'm going to be working on this fall that I did a couple of performances of already. So I'm playing around currently with how to deepen my experience of live painting, of painting in front of people. And I'm dealing with the challenge of being in the moment and also planning out painting a product, so product versus process, in a more performative space with painting, which is something that's very new to me over the last year and something I've sort of dabbled in. Um, but it's very nature based. The imagery is of a woman, and there's a she is the image is called "I'm Rising," and she's essentially surrounded by nature. And I'm going to be painting that image for about 6 minutes this fall in front of like an audience. So that's what I'm currently working on. And I'm working on some smaller. When I work small, I create photo transfers. So that's what I've been working on in the last year or so in between my paintings, my larger paintings. And I love photo transfer because I can work small scale and I can utilize a lot of the imagery that I use in my research and development that I have for my paintings, but don't usually get to create as a final product themselves. So
Well, Monique, thank you so much for speaking with me. I find your work to have such a beautiful energy, but also I feel like it takes me on a wonderful journey. Beautiful stories that are fascinating and interesting and really thought-provoking. So
thank you.
I appreciate you being in the exhibit.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being included, and I can't wait to see the exhibition in real time.